This is the Non-Typical Nation podcast with your hosts, Brody Teal and Erik.
Let's talk hunting and absolutely everything else that goes with it.
How do you like that coffee?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
That is the Old Smokes Coffee Blazing Apple. It's a light roast, and light roast is the highest in caffeine. So you're going to finish that, and you're going to be buzzed for about 2 hours.
Won't be going to bed early.
No, I finished the podcast last time, and I tried to go to bed at like midnight, and I couldn't, just because we pounded, a liter blazing apple at 9 o'clock in the evening. It's good coffee, though. Smoked coffee. It's smoked over apple wood. And if anyone wants to order any, check out oldsmokescoffee.com and use promo code non-typical. But anyways, today we've got quite the guy with us. He has been in a few of our bear hunting episodes. He's helped us out big time in the bear baiting area. We have filmed some wolf trapping with him. That episode is going to be out on YouTube this winter. The bear episodes will be on the Sportsman channel next June or July, I believe. And he is... He's quite in tune with these wolves. So that's who we got today. We got John the Trapper. You might have recognized him or might recognize that name from all of our posts that we've done and some of our videos and whatnot. So, we just want to chat trapping and wolf baiting, even bear baiting and everything that comes with it. I know, Erik, you're getting pretty ramped up to do some wolf hunting this winter.
Yeah, wolf baiting right away here as soon as it gets cold again.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's warmed up now, though. It's 0 out tonight. So
It's 0? Yeah, it's warmed right up. You've already trapped a few wolves this year, though, haven't you, John?
Yeah, that's correct.
Nice.
I didn't know the ones I got. They were 8. Like the wolves they're hungry, so.
Oh, okay.
And I usually check them every 10 days, but I've shortened that now to every 5 days because there's not much snow, so the game get a little further from them. The ones that I snared, they were half eaten, they're just ripped up.
Oh, wow.
So they weren't really that great.
Yeah.
And
this is all on your property. So this isn't a registered trap line. This is your private property. So you're basically trapping these wolves for predator management.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The areas that I cleaned up in the past, there wasn't as many big game. That now these couple of years, the moose picked up, the elk picked up. There's way more deer, way more bear, and it's a bonus. We don't control the predators, then they're gonna get out of hand, and we just won't have anything left for us, kind of thing.
Yeah, it is absolutely unreal. If you have a pack of 8 wolves, 6 wolves, 10 wolves, they can do a lot of damage on calf moose, cows. They could even take down younger bulls, no problem. And I've noticed too, this year, hunting whitetails, I tried going a little farther back. The farther I went back, the more wolf tracks I seen and the less deer tracks I seen. All of the deer activity was closer to civilization, closer to roads. And as soon as I got farther back, there was less deer tracks and it was just wolf tracks. So it's sort of like once a pack moves into an area, it pretty much screws the ungulates right up. Like they're either going to move out of the area or they're going to pretty much, remove the fawns and the cows and calves, from that area because they need a lot of meat to eat, especially this time of year.
Yeah, that's right. The colder it gets, the more they move around. When it's warmer, it's not so much, but they do have their needs. They not to entirely wipe them out, but just to manage their numbers.
Yeah.
Because if the numbers are too high, then they're gonna overdo it.
Yeah.
Then I found young moose or just the liver and stuff were taken out, and it was like the pups. They were showing the pups what to do. Then I went back, and that's all they ever ate was just the liver, kidneys, kind of thing.
Wow. Well, we went out with you last winter, but the winter before when Tommy was with us, and we went to some private property. I think they called you because they had issues with wolves.
Yeah.
They killed one of their colts, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we went and we found, I I think it was a cow. I don't think it was a colt, but we found the cow, or it might have been the colt.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had the stomach ripped right out. They had the ass chewed and ripped right out, and that was it. They never really touched anything else. But like you said, you need an equal balance of pretty much everything. You need wolves, so the deer numbers and everything else doesn't go crazy. But something has to manage those predators, because the ungulates are getting managed by the predators, but the predators don't have anything to manage them but us. Right. That's our role. Now the MD, are they still giving a bounty for wolves in that area?
Yeah, there's a bounty there, and there's a couple other farmlands that I go to and help the farmers out. And the bounty is a little lower, but it's still there. It helps out. Helps with the gas and stuff.
Well, that's good. That tells us that they recognize that there's a wolf problem.
Yeah.
And that's important. I'm not too sure. Is there one around here?
Yeah, this MD here doesn't have one, no, but the three immediate ones, like our neighboring MDs, they all have them.
Yeah.
So, like, there's an obvious problem with wolves here. Like, even the counties and the MDs notice it, right? And it's obviously affecting the farmers and
yeah, and that's where they're going to have. That's where I've noticed most of the bounties are in those agricultural areas, because they put such a, they remove a few cattle. That's big coin right there.
Yeah, a $1,500 meal.
Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. So yeah, guys, John's got a Facebook page. He sort of tracks everything he does, shares a few photos, some videos. It's super interesting. Check it out. It's Northern Wolf Trapping Alberta, right? On Facebook?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's got some absolute giant wolves. Super cool. And yeah, we filmed this past winter and last winter with you, sort of showing how to trap wolves, how to set your snares. This past winter, we even got on to 2 wolves at the snares when we came up to them, and that was super cool. So we're gonna feature that on YouTube, which is gonna be pretty cool. It's quite the experience. It's something else.
So when did you start? What got you into trapping wolves?
Probably my uncles. They always did it, and they used to try to follow along, and they're pretty strict with the scent control and watching your step and such. And I always picked it up from there. And a good friend of mine helped me out too at Eldon. He had gave me some good tips, and I just kind of grew from there, learned from my mistakes, and when you get down to the wolf's eye level, you see how they see the world, I guess. And it helps lots. Like if you're going to put your snares, even placing a bait, if it's too tight of an area, they won't go. They're too shy. If it's too open of an area, they won't go. They need some trees. But, yeah.
So there's a lot to learn.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot to learn. So you've been doing it for a while, because you got her down to a science pretty much. So, there's probably some guys who've tried wolf trapping and even wolf hunting in the past. And so if you have 3 or even 5 major important rule of thumb, things that you should do, what would you suggest?
Yeah.
Like scent wise, even going into areas, leaving areas, is there anything, any really important points or, rules that you follow chasing these guys?
If you find a spot where they're sitting lots, like a calling spot, that's usually a good area to have a bait within a mile, because they always circle back. Where you find their little seats all over, because that's where they howl, then it's letting the other wolves know that there's a pack in the area. So if you find that, there'll be a bunch of pee all over, like pee spots and poop. Then I usually put my baits within a mile of that, as you've seen when we went out the winter before. Rivers work good, because that's just a natural runway for moose, elk, deer. So the wolves will hit those. Beaver dams are really good for snaring. You put your bait out on the ice, could chop a little hole, let the water swell. It saves a lot of bait. And you would just set off on beaver runs or natural trails. And biggest thing is get down to their level. Because if you're standing at 6 feet or 5 feet, however tall you are, you don't see what they're seeing. So when you put your sets, you're gonna miss. But like we had showed you last winter, if you crouch down and you see all these natural openings where they're gonna go, because they don't like too thick, but they don't like it too thin either. Then if you start trapping them, you'll notice when one's caught, the first thing they do is run right to a tree. Then they'll circle around, and so if you have a medium thickish area, I guess, but more cover the better.
Well, they're smart animals, right? So they're not gonna just expose themselves completely out in an opening like a big field or even a big wide pipeline, right? They're usually, if you see them there, they're running across.
Yeah. Then and on the lake, like I went out towards whitefish up there. We put bait out in the middle of a lake, and we've seen them come within maybe a mile. Then they'll just stop and sit. So we pull the bait back closer to the tree line. Would see one wolf circle out about half a mile, and the other ones would slowly come along the edge. So they do need cover. It helps. They're real shy, like you said. They're really smart. Scent's a big thing. Even how you step. If you just walk normal, a wolf will pick up on it that's not normal. That shouldn't be there. But if you kind of take wide steps like a moose would, and the wolf's usually more comfortable to come into a bait. Then they usually have a exit and an entrance when they come. They'll enter from one side, they'll exit on the other, and it's the same trail they come. It's just their route that they do. And that's a good way to hang up a bunch. I've caught, I think it was eight off one exiting set. Got a bait out on the beaver dam, and I seen where they're coming in. Their tracks were to and from, so I just set my snares kind of like a V, about 6 feet apart, and hung them up pretty good.
So was that 8 at like one time? 8 in one day?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So you got majority of the pack that run there.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah,
And so what are you guys using for bait?
Roadkill is probably the best. Moose hides work really good. I've rotted beaver, then buried it, but it didn't work as good as I thought. Then beaver fat, like, when you trap beaver and you start fleshing it, if you save that,
Yeah.
it's like candy for them. Bear, they really enjoy bear.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Well, you'll see that lots too, where you see wolf scat all over the road and stuff, and it's filled with bear hair.
Yeah, that's
And a
right.
lot of time in the winter, right, they'll go into those dens and pull those cubs out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unreal. Yeah. So, similar to bears, there's some things that they're a little finicky with and
Yeah.
some things they like. But I guess if you can get onto some roadkill, get some permission from Fish and Wildlife, that's pretty good bait.
Yeah, they help you out. Like the road workers will help you out, and you get a permit from Fish and Wildlife, and you have to stay in their WMU, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And you could bait anywhere in that area, and it helps. Like they're willing to help you because you're doing a job for them, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they know there's an issue.
Oh, yeah, obvious predator control.
That's crazy. So you, you've been hired to do predator control before, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right.
So what is it usually, the band or the MD and Fish and Wildlife, if there's an issue in sort of an area that's out of there, they can't get to soon enough, they'll get a hold of you, or how'd you get that gig? How does that work?
That just went from word of mouth, I guess. I helped out one guy. He had wolves coming in and ripping down calves, and they were sitting trying to shoot them, and they weren't getting very lucky. They were seeing more coyotes than anything. So I had stopped by and seen the wolf tracks, and I kind of knew him. I said, "You mind if I hang your puppies?" And he said, "Oh, sure." So it kind of went from there. Then he told his friend, and his friend told his friend, and it kind of went all the way to BC.
Well, it's not easy to do.
No.
It is. Like I've talked to a lot of trappers who do a lot of trapping, and they're pumped up if they can get 2 or 3 a year. But if you have someone who has got it down to a science, And you're without a doubt probably the most efficient wolf trapper I've met. That is valuable, especially if you got problem wolves that are killing cattle or colts or dogs, or you never know how close they can get to children too.
Yeah, that's right. And they're smart. If you catch two, you've just educated the whole pack. So that's another point that should actually bring up. If you're baiting and snaring, the more snares, the better that you could hang, the better chance. Because if you don't catch the lead dog, the lead male, lead female, if you just catch a 2-year-old pup, everyone's going to come up there and see, why is this one not moving? And they're going to see your wires, smell it. If you have a leg hold, same thing. They watch, like they learn just as fast as you do. So if you slip up, then they're going to be one on you. But when they slip up, that's where you kind of win, right? That's how we catch them.
You got to take advantage of them slip up.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think you've mentioned to me before too, when you shoot a wolf and there's a pack there and they hear that gunshot, and if you kill one, the chances of them coming back to that area right away are quite slim, hey?
Yeah. If you shoot one of the youngers, because they have their own little dominance in a pack, then most people will shoot the first one they see. They think, well, that's the leader, but realistically it's not. The leader's always in the back. Then if you shoot one, most likely they won't come back out. I've shot them before and sat there for an hour, and you could hear them howl a little bit, and they take off because they know you're there. But I've shot them before where I let the whole little ones come out. Then you'll notice there'll be one big one, and it'll be the tiny, then a big one. It'll go tiny, then a big one. Then after that, they're kind of bigger. Like you could tell right away. Then their tails, how they hold their tails, you could tell who's in charge and who's not. So if you knock over one of the leaders or even one of the hunters, then they'll just circle, and it gets pretty fun actually that day.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of guys at the shop here, where they pull up with 3 wolves in the back of their truck, or even 4 wolves once or twice, and they shoot the biggest one they see because they want the big one, and that a lot of times is the alpha, not always, but it is a lot of times. And then the same story I've heard several times. They're like, there was 3 or 4, they just kept circling and they stayed there, and I just took them one at a time. And if you get lucky like that, that's pretty darn good. So what are wolves worth anything these days, or what are they getting for them?
Yeah, it varies. Like the thickness, color is a big thing. Like a lot of people want straight black. They don't want no white on them. Then they want pure white, and the grays go for decent, but you're lucky to get 150. Sometimes you could get 5.
Yeah.
But it varies where you sell them. And some other people will buy them tan, but that takes so long, as you know, for them to sell. So basically, you're just doing a favor to the moose kind of thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, to everything pretty much, like everything out there. Unreal. So has there been an increase, have you noticed, of the popularity of wolf hunting and wolf trapping? Or do you think it's sort of becoming a lost thing, or do you think more people are getting into it, or what do you think? Like, what do you see in the future for wolf trapping and wolf hunting? Do you feel like you're the solo man doing it, I guess is what I'm saying, or do you feel like there's a bunch of other guys that are into it and it's going to be around for a while?
I think it's just like anything else. Popularity is there for a year or 2 years. People want to jump on it, they want to try it, they want to do it, and they get bored of it. When they think they're failing, then they quit. But the ones that keep going, there is still a couple of guys that I know that are still going through with it, and there's a lot of people I know that try it for a year and they can't. It gets frustrating, and they're just not watching their sets. So I know it kind of depends on the wolves, I guess, what they do. As numbers are down, actually, the areas that I've been working, like they get sick, they get mange and stuff, and their numbers do drop. And there'll be winters where their numbers pick up, then some guys get more interested. So I don't know, it's kind of hard to say however it goes.
So how many wolves a year have you been taking down on average?
Yeah, check the chalkboard at home.
And go ask the wife. uh, quite a few. Like there's lots that I don't bring out because they've been eaten.
Right.
Because if it's a wolf, like you got the rogue wolves that they come in out of nowhere, and if I catch them and the other pack gets there before I get, there's just a piece of a head. Usually with 16, 18 wolves. Sometimes it's slow at first. November, December, it's pretty slow. Then it picks up January, February when they're starting to breed. But yeah, usually manage usually with 16. Sometimes a little more. Sometimes a little less. At most times a little more.
Yeah, all you gotta do is follow his Facebook page, and you'll see he'll have a good weekend, and it'll be like big wolf, big wolf, big wolf, big wolf, like 4 or 5 in a row. No, that's awesome. Yeah, you've got some absolute giants. Even that one with that day we went out when those two were there. The one was a smaller female, I think, and then the other one was quite a good sized male. Yeah, it was a big one.
That was a big one. If that wasn't an alpha, I think that was one of the lead hunters. Is that was a big dog.
Yeah.
And his tail was still good, and so he had to be up there in the leadership. You'll notice on some their tails they're chewed off.
Yes.
Then when they're trying to get too far ahead of themselves, the main dog will come and it'll snap their tail.
Wow.
And
ruthless.
even on their ears, their ear will be ripped off. They could tell if somebody got a licking kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're pretty strict, I guess.
That's awesome. Have you spent much time with coyotes this year?
Yeah, I've been playing with them. Me and my son been going. He's kind of ahead of me. A little guy. He's more patient, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, he's doing good. We sold a bunch of fur already. That he was pretty pumped with it and all excited. My daughter's on board. She's doing it. And the wife comes out and helps, and poor girl has to go the roadkill.
Yeah. Yeah, coyotes are doing really well from what I hear, the fur prices.
Yeah.
Guys are saying they're getting, if they're stretched in a good size coyote, they're getting upwards of $200, $150. So if a guy gets 10, 20, 30, 40.
It's a lot of fun and it pays off. And the same thing, like you got to manage the coyotes too. And if they get sick, they overdo it with the deer, and they'll even pick up your dogs. If you got little dogs, cats, just like everything else, need to help out. And you're going to be doing some wolf hunting too?
Yep. Yeah, I'm doing all the wolf hunting I can this winter. I tried to. Yeah, I'm just waiting for a little bit of snow yet. Not really interested in playing in the mud in December.
Yeah, you're thinking of building a box blind and sitting there.
Just making a permanent blind sort of deal, and a little bit better heat once the minus 30 rolls around.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with wolf hunting. You got to be prepared for long sits.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
From as early as you can get out there till as late as you can get out there. Yeah. So, and you got to be, I've learned that when you're hunting, man, if you aren't comfortable, it's just not enjoyable.
Well, if you're wolf hunting, especially in a blind over bait, you gotta be ready to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, yes, but what I'm saying is when you're on day 3 of 12-hour fucking days in minus 40, you're gonna be happy you have that box blind.
You gotta really want a fucking wolf.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. That's a given. But like John said, those wolves, they'll come in right on the edge of your bait and they'll just sit there for hours.
Yeah.
Because they think something might be up.
Yeah.
Right? And all it takes is, a sneeze or too loud of a fart, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, there's somebody here."
Yeah, it's wild.
We ain't messing with this shit.
What helps actually when we shot them before, we would have a bait, and you get that wolf lure, and you just put it on a cloth or a tampon, whatever, and you hang it or kind of close where you sit, and it makes them nosy. Like you'll see them perk right up as soon as the wind switches, and they come pretty close.
Instead of giving your scent away so easily, makes a good cover scent.
Yeah, without a doubt. So you do post a lot of your stuff publicly, some of the wolf kills you got and stuff like that, and you've had issues with sort of backlash in the past, eh?
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of people that think it's not right to do that.
And you know what? I think the whole thing with wolves is, the human in general has got such an obsession with dogs, right? Everyone's got a dog.
Yeah.
And well, what are dogs? Dogs are wolves,
Yeah.
So, rightful. I see where people are coming from with that stuff, but, there's a line and a lot of people, cross it, but
There was actually one fella from Wallaby area. He had got a hold of me and kind of ragged me about all these wolves. You shouldn't do this, do that. The following winter, the same guy got a hold of me and said, "Can you come take out these wolves?"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they're beautiful animals, right? And, but if they're an issue, it doesn't matter what it is or what it looks like. If it's killing your cats or your dogs, or as soon as it starts affecting you, then it's a problem.
Well, and wolves are just one thing that you really can't not control. You have to control them.
Yeah.
Like they'll kill. I mean, people's well-being, their farms, cattle, right? Like that totally take somebody's bank down with them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, it's even like grizzly bears now, right? The grizzly bears haven't been hunted for 12 or 13 years in Alberta, and we've run into a few this spring. And you see a black bear, it'll run away, but you see a grizzly bear, he does not care about you because nothing has been trying to kill that grizzly bear. Like, he's got no predators, nothing. Like, maybe when he was a cub, there might have been a big bear that might have messed around with him. But as soon as that bear hit maturity at 2 or 3 years old, he's got nothing to worry about. No predators. No one's going to shoot him. There's no bigger bears or wolves or nothing's going to take down a big grizzly bear. They got no predators at all. And it's a lot similar to wolves, right? Nothing is preying on these apex predators. And that's pretty much our job.
And nothing's smarter than the pack, right? Nothing out there is smarter than the pack.
Yeah, that's no, right, the wolf is definitely the most, in tune and keen animal, I'd say, out there. Yeah, it's absolutely unreal. But,
so do you have any interesting or crazy wild stories with wolves? You ever been face to face with one, or had one turn on you?
Yeah, my brother had came out with me, and I'm partially deaf, and I was talking to him. I said, I have a snare here, and my snare cables are about 6 feet long, and I have a tie wire that's about 4 feet long. So there was an active trail that was to and from, and I was looking, I said, there should be a snare there. And I could kind of see like where it was cleared up. I said, oh, there was a wolf here somewhere. And so I got down, I'm looking with the flashlight, and I'm turning like this, and my brother's going, whoa, 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 whoa. And I turned, and the wolf was just right at the edge of the wire. And
wow.
It was pretty creepy.
No kidding.
That's crazy, man.
I wasn't too brave then. I just kind of did a little crawl, roll, and I was out of there.
Unreal.
Yeah. Well, you've been turned on by a few animals, though, eh?
Yeah.
Well, you've got quite the spring bear hunting story.
Oh, that wasn't right. I never carry a gun when I'm baiting and stuff. And I went in. I had the boat. I had the gun on a quad. And I drove in, and there was one coming out. There was a black bear when I walked in. I don't know if that red one chased it, and it came right at me, circled me, so I shot from the hip, and I jumped up the tree, and he's just going back around. I'm trying to call everyone. I got old Brody. And it took off. So I was going
to do anything at all.
I called the wife.
So wait. You called, slow this down a little bit. I haven't heard this.
Well, I got a text message from him. It says, I'm in a tree and there's a bear circling down below me. I was going
to ask. My question was, you called him from the tree?
Actually, I think you might have phoned me.
Yeah,
and you're breathing really heavy. Like, I'm in a tree. There's a bear down below me. I'm like, okay.
That wasn't right. And I called my wife, and I was like, maybe there's a bear. And she's like, well, yeah, you're hunting bears. I was like, no, it's under me. She said, yeah, you're in a tree. Okay. So I jumped back down, and the bear circled back, and it came. And I just kind of shot from the hip, and it went off, and it went laid. And yeah, it was maybe from me to you.
Oh, God.
That's crazy. And we seen, so the next day, I went there, and that's when I got my bear. And his casing was still right at the entrance, right beside the tree stand. We're like, hey, look at this casing. He's like, oh, yeah, that's the one I shot the bear with yesterday. And that was a big bear. We were just looking at your skull down below there at the shop here. And that skull was, I think, 20 and a half inches, right around there. That was a big bear. Nice brown color face, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a giant.
That's a big bear.
And they're just, I don't know, a rookie mistake. I don't know if it was just complacent or, I don't know, just trusted them a little too much or something. I don't know. But, yeah.
So you never carry a gun with you? You just happen to have one with you that day?
Yeah, like Brody's been with me before. I carry a pocket knife sometimes, or
Yeah, well, honestly, I don't.
Or if we're going to retrieve a dead bear, he'll bring a hatchet.
Yeah, I don't.
So.
I don't carry a gun when I'm baiting either, though.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
it's just one more thing to carry,
Yeah.
and it kind of gets in the way. Eh?
And you don't really have time to use it if you're got your head in a barrel anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I strap a little shotgun to the back of my back. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's just lucky you had it though, like that day, especially
That's right.
stuck in a tree.
Honestly, that's a big bear. That bear could do a lot of damage, man.
That was a big one. And I had a run-in with another wolf. I had my son with me. We went out, and same thing. We're checking at night. It's a big line, and we went. I had this flashlight look, and I said, "There's a snare here somewhere." And my little guy's giggling, and he turned the quad. He's like, "Dad, there's eyes." I said, "What?" I looked, and the wolf wasn't very far from me where I was sitting, and it wasn't right.
He was snared up and just right at the end of the snare.
Yeah, he was just snared up, like he was just freshly caught, and he had quite a bit of life in him.
Wow. Unreal.
Yeah, it makes you a little nerve wracking, eh? Well, so you're checking the snares in the dark though.
Yeah, there's times where I go out at night. Like if I have to go to work, I always run my line to make sure that something's not gonna be there. And if it is, I'll dispatch it so it's nothing suffering. I try to do everything as humane as I can. And most times the snares, like within 30 seconds, they're dispatched, right? Cause
Yeah.
hanging on to them pretty good. But with the leg holds, not so much. It's a leg hold. It doesn't harm them. You could put your arm in there, don't damage you or anything. It just holds you. And I check those quite frequent. Usually once every 2 days is the law. I'm pretty sure 72 hours, something like that. You have to check. But the snares usually once every 10 days. But this past time it's been every 5 days I go.
Mm-hmm.
I found quite a few wolves that were dead on the river where other wolves came in and kind of chewed them up. So yeah, there's quite a bit.
So do you think they're eating on each other right now because of the weather and they're hungry, or do you think is it just something that happens this certain time of year?
No, I think it's another pack intruding.
Oh, okay, so they're like they're on each other's territory right now. Yeah.
Because if you hang around them enough, you'll see where two packs do have some spots where their boundaries kind of
Overlap.
overlap. And if they're kind of in the same area, you'll find pieces of a head or sometimes of what the stuff they don't like. Then if a rogue male shows up or a rogue female, they just rip it up right away.
So that'd be a hell of a place to have a bait or some snares, but you
Yeah.
got to be quick on them.
Yeah,
You
to be
can't
quick.
be leaving them lay there for very long.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, right actually where we seen that dead cow or whatever it was, on that river, there was a dead black wolf there.
Yeah, that's right. There was.
And we videoed that whole thing. And then we also found a dead dog that the wolves had killed. Remember that?
Yeah, that's
there was
right.
it was like a little tail, and you're like, oh, what's this? And we kick at the snow, and it's a dead dog.
Like a dead farm dog.
Yeah, something. And so all within this like 500-yard area, there's a dead cow that they ripped the guts and the ass out. And then on the river, there was a wolf that was torn apart, a black wolf.
Yeah.
And then on the bank where we were setting the snares was a dead dog.
Yeah, that was that guy's husky he had lost.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did you catch any of those sets or?
Yeah, I did later on. It took them a little while to come back because I think it was so close to the home.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did come back, and there was some picked up there. Some of the black ones and some grays are kind of rubbed out, but they haven't been back so much since. They've moved further on. That's what you'll notice too if you snare wolves in one area, the next year they won't go back. But if you catch one like early in a season, they'll go within 6 feet of where that last wolf was killed.
Wow.
Like they always come look where did he go, what happened. Like you could see they're trying to learn why was he there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're pretty smart.
Yeah, they don't forget.
Yeah, they don't forget.
That's crazy. Right on. Yeah, usually the wolves that we get at the shop, most of them are guys who've just been lucky and seen them.
Yeah.
There's not many guys that we bring wolves in that have sat and targeted those wolves because they're so tough to get. And the trappers they'll usually send them away because a good wolf you'll get a few $100 for if you're lucky. But yeah, you've got some blue phase wolves in the past, eh?
Yeah, that's right. I got a nice blue, and that's pretty rare.
So are those blue ones? They are rare. They're super rare, and they're very nice animals. Are those still seen as more valuable at the market, or are the more valuable ones sort of the standard colored gray ones or black ones?
The black and white are more of they're higher end because the
Yeah.
blue it's so hard to get. So
Yes.
the market's kind of up and down with that. If you find somebody like privately after you
That's
get it
your best
tanned,
bet.
That's your best bet, yeah. But to sell them in the market, blue, it's such an odd color that it's even red. The red wolves, it's the same thing. You'll get $50 if that.
Yeah, it's sort of how it is with martins too. Like the fur market, they want the nice dark brown ones.
Yeah.
Where at the taxidermy shop here, the nicer ones that we find are the ones with the orange chest or blonde on them and whatnot. And those ones they actually get less for at the market.
Yeah.
We just did a fisher the other day here, and it had pretty much a full white chest, white from its neck to its arm to its belly to its legs. The whole thing was
Wow.
white. And then if he would have sent that to market, he would have got next to nothing because they want an all dark one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, pretty cool, man. That's awesome. Are you getting excited for bear baiting, or you just can't even think about it right now because you're so deep in these wolves?
Yeah, I actually got some beavers pailing already for next spring.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I got a hook up at the end of bear season with a whole bunch of beavers that we were using there, and that guy's keeping a bunch for me. So
Oh, that's good. That's honey for them.
it's important, man. Like I've baited for several years and I haven't had great success. Like I got one good bear at my bait and watched a few, but nothing like your baits were this past year. And I had never used beaver. I just never thought it was a necessity. But now I see how important it is to have beaver there all the time because those bears love it. That's what they go right to is the beaver.
Is like the golden ticket.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's going to be a staple from here on. You got to have it.
Every predator animal out there, if you go over on a beaver house, you see their tracks there, right from a mink to a wolf to a bear. That's their main dish is beaver. It's like their candy, I guess. Eh?
Yeah, that's awesome. Right on. Yeah, I can't wait for bear season. I am absolutely jacked right up.
So you're paling beavers. What, you just let them ferment all winter long?
Yeah, like when I'll chop them up and some I leave the guts. Depends if I'm gonna use it for wolves. And the ones for bear, I'll leave the guts. The more blood and stuff in there, the better it ripes up. Kind of. Then once the lid pops off, then I'll give it a steer and I'll put the lid back on. And it stains your clothes pretty good.
Yeah, well, the thing is, this time of year, though, too, it is frozen, right? And it will probably stay cool and frozen until March or middle of March, usually, and then you can pretty much start baiting. Like, usually we start baiting start of April, and there's still a little bit of snow on the ground. Yeah. So if you kept those in pails, they're going to be a little stanky, but I don't think they're going to be too bad. But once you start getting into May, and then she gets warms up.
Yeah.
So you like a real rotten stinky one. That's good.
That's you need. Like it's a calling card, and even though an animal's froze, if you pick up a roadkill deer that's been laying there for 3 days and it's bloated, they stink. Like they rot from the inside out, and the heat doesn't get out of them.
Okay, so I always had the idea that you don't want it super rotten, but they like that real nasty stink.
So I don't know. What I do is this is actually something I learned from Eldon, and what I do is have like a beaver in a pail, like John is saying, and that's like my scent attractant. And then my barrel is filled up with oats and dog food and popcorn and fresher meat, but I'm not trying to feed them like rotten meat. That's just what brings them in.
Yeah, because that scent is so strong that
and then
it
I
travels.
have the fresh beaver hanging from the tree. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that pail, do you strap it up
Or
pretty
I
high?
just pour it everywhere, or I
I see.
Or I
Yeah,
throw it
yeah.
in the oats so the oats smell like it, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not like I tried it when I tried 2 springs ago. I had a whole bunch of we did a big perch fish in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah.
A whole bunch of perch scraps.
Yeah.
So I kept them all winter long for bear season, and I filled a whole drum full,
Wow.
full of perch.
That's
guts
a lot of
and
perch scraps.
whatever,
Yeah.
just scraps.
Yeah.
And I had 2 bears come by, and none of them stayed.
Well, you've mentioned fish to me before, John, haven't you? That the bears sometimes aren't too keen of it.
Yeah, I had the same problem where I put fish guts and stuff, and they come and they sniffle around, and you'll see them move the fish out the way to get to whatever else is behind it. And I use a lot of grease, just like with wolves, same thing. Trails to and from.
Yeah.
With bear baiting, I'll put grease on their trail.
Yeah.
So whenever the bear goes through that sponge, he goes and he tracks, and the other bears pick that scent up, and then they just follow it in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I use same thing, oats and dog food and beaver, fresh beaver. You're right. The fresher the meat, the more they kind of hang around. And yeah.
Just anything in sugar is good too. Anything
Yeah.
Sweet, anything sweet, they just like that. Even like Mio compressed juice or concentrated juice or whatever.
Yeah.
Just spray it all over the trees and everything. And
Yeah.
The bark soaks it up. They'll sit there and chew on the tree for. Same with your grease, though. I've seen bears just lay down and chew on a poplar tree for 3 hours because there's grease stuck in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I went bananas on grease at the start of the year. I think I filled up like 5-gallon pails. In my first run, I just dumped her all 25 gallons of grease all over the place.
I always bring a bucket of grease every time I go into fill bait. Yeah, fresh the grease up because it's just like John said, they just track it everywhere.
Yeah.
There's every bear in the area. And
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I love bear season, man. Bear, it's nice weather. You can hunt a little later because it's light till 10 o'clock at night. And it's a ton of fun. There were a few moments, though, where those bears have ripped those beavers open, and we were sitting in the tree stand, and we could just smell the stank from there.
Yeah, it's good stuff. That I enjoy it too. I enjoy watching them. It's not just about taking one, but just watching how they do and what they do, and it's just learn from them, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what's super cool about bear baiting is that you can sit there and watch these animals do their thing.
Yeah.
This year, I baited with zero intention of shooting a bear at a bait. I just decided to run a couple baits just to do it. I like spot and stock bear hunting. I've done baited bear hunts, and I've ran these baits for 5 years now. But the last 2 years, I just don't have any interest in shooting one over the bait.
And you know what? That frustrated me because you sent me photos of you sitting in the bait with like 4 bears beneath you and two big ones, like probably 19-inch skulls in these bears.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know, I'm just going to wait. It doesn't really crank my gears. I'm like, man, that's like a great bear. There's a lot of people that would give a lot for a bear like that.
Standing there in the tree trying to get servers with my phone to send you pictures while there's just bears walking around.
Jesus. That's crazy. Well, the first sit I had in your stand, John, I had one bear come in and then he heard something. So he ran off. And actually, this is going to be in, I think, the first bear episode on the Sportsman channel in July. But yeah, the one bear came in, he left, and then 2 bears came in together. And they were at that bait for 3.5 hours until you came in.
Yeah.
And there was one, the smaller one was actually the dominant one. So at first they'd both come in and eat, and then the one wanted the beaver, and the dominant one's like, no, this is my beaver. So he chased him off. He bedded down behind me. He'd try and sneak in, and then they'd chase each other off, and then they'd go at it for a bit, and then they'd bed down and sleep. And it was nonstop action for like 3.5-4 hours. And it was incredible. I've never experienced anything like that. Have bears in front of me for that long, scrapping like that. It was just super, super cool.
That's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed your time up there.
Yeah, you know what? And they didn't look like huge, like they weren't huge, but they were decent bears for sure. Like when I looked at them, I thought right away, no, these aren't shooters. But after watching the video footage, I'm like, yeah, these are good sized bears. Like these might be bigger than the ones that I actually arrowed.
Yeah.
And then you showed me trail camera photos from that time when the bears were there, where that camera was taking photos, and those bears look big in those trail camera photos. I'm like, no, those aren't the ones that were there. You're like, yeah, look at the time. Those are them. I'm like, oh man. But you can't shoot them on the first day. It's,
Yeah, that's true.
You got to sit and watch them for a little bit.
Well, the best part about bear baiting is the interactions.
Yeah.
You just see, like, how many times do you go in to fill your bait and there's one there?
Yeah,
right?
that's
Or
right.
or you're there for 30 seconds and all of a sudden there's one there.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because so then we went the next time when you had got your bear.
Yeah.
The next day I went, you met us there. My brother was with me. We got up in the stand. We seen what we thought was a cub, and it was actually a sow, a small sow, and she was circling. And then the bear I got came in, and he wouldn't let her come in. She just kept circling around the bait. That was cool. We had a camera down at the bait filming from the ground level, and you can see the sow just circling around. And so we sat there for 5-10 minutes, him and Han. Then I realized that was the bear I was going to shoot last time we were out. But I missed the opportunity. It ran off and whatever. So then I arrowed the bear. It ran away. The sow was gone. And we sit there, wait for John. He's like, yeah, wait for me. And then a bear comes in. And I'm like, what? Is this the bear that I just arrowed? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Same size and everything, but it didn't have a white patch. So it was a different bear. And I told Brain, I said, hey, here's your chance if you want to take a bear. He's like, no, we already got one down. And then you pulled up and that bear was still standing at the bait. And then he ran off. We go and retrieve my bear. On our way back, there's 2 bears at the bait. They're running all over the place. I think we told this story last time when Braden was here.
I think we did.
And probably the time before that too. Well, awesome, man. I'm glad to have you on here. I just wanted to chat about, your wolf trapping and all the fun stuff that you do. And I hope to get back out with you again this winter.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Come out anytime. It's always nice to get out and about, and I enjoy showing what I do, and could it help somebody else? Like people ain't gonna learn if nobody shows them, right? And if they keep making mistakes, then they ain't gonna want to do it. So the way I see it is I'm still helping a trapping society by helping people learn. So if you could snare a wolf, you could pretty much snare anything. So I don't know, it's kind of the reason I do it.
That's a hell of a good reason to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're good at doing it. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I've had my errors. Like I've had a lot of misses when I first tried, and I wasn't paying attention. I was always in a hurry and wasn't watching my step, wasn't watching my scent. And as you'll see with Brody, I've always carried spruce boughs. That's the fastest way to cover your scent, is rub spruce boughs on your legs. I've took out guys that just did their hands, and I reminded them, I said, well, you still have your scent from your truck or your quad or skidoo, and you take care of that, and I said, you'll have a better chance. And it seems to work pretty well. And with the snares, I boil them about 2-3 times, get the oil sent off, then I'll add whatever's in the area where I'm snaring. So if you're in a poplar area and you boil with spruce, you don't catch nothing. They know there's a different smell. Yeah, they're pretty keen on it.
That's like going home with some other lady's perfume.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to get out there for sure. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I'll be running baits, and I'll need a hand maybe.
Yeah,
so you might have to find some time.
Yeah, we should. It'd be nice. And I have a big area up in Swan Hills, actually. There's a bunch of wolves up there. It's Goose Tower area.
Oh yeah.
I was signed on a line up there to help a couple of trappers there, and around Whitefish area I'm supposed to go. And past Wabasca, what's that place called? Chip Lakes, I think it's called there.
Oh yeah.
Them one of the council members actually had got a hold of me to go help them with the wolves. So if you guys are on board,
Yeah.
I'm always down to go snare some wolves.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And it'd be cool to sort of document, it all and whatnot. So how long would you go up there for at a time? Because you got to set the snares. So are you going to stay out there for a few days so you can check them, or are you going to come back and then go back out there in 3 or 4 days or 5 days to check them?
I'd most likely go drop a bait. Well, put the snares first, then drop a bait, and go within 10 days. But what that counselor was saying is they're in there every 3 days. like they're right inside the community, and it's just a small community along the lake, and some of the members were worried about their kids going to school and such. So probably the sooner the better to take care of it, the way I see it. Then same thing with the trappers down by Whitefish area. They're trapping stuff, but the wolves come in, their lynx and stuff. Lynx season's coming up right away. Wolves chew them all up. Uh, some marten I've noticed the wolf will come by and you'll rip it in half, kind of thing. And Wabash cutters, some boys up there are asking, so I'll probably be heading up there eventually this winter.
You got a busy winter ahead of you.
Yeah, I hope so. It would be nice.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start hiring out.
Yeah, they pay pretty
Expand.
good.
Well, that's just it, right? If you're efficient and if you know what you're doing, if you're confident with what you're doing, you know, you can cover your costs and make a little extra and have fun while you're doing it.
Oh yeah, the farmers they're pretty generous because you're saving them in the end. So then you get the bounty and it's good. It pays off, keeps the wife kind of smiling.
Yeah, that's important. Sure. And like you said too, though, if you remove a few wolves from that pack, even if you don't have the whole pack, that pack will move out of that area.
That's right.
So you don't necessarily have to get the whole pack to, you know, protect an area. You can get 1 or 2 or 3 out, and then you know, that should do the job for some time until another pack moves on in.
That's right.
But
you'll see that lots, couple areas that I went, the horses were getting pulled down, dogs were getting pulled down, and I took out 6. Then they've counted 17 in some of those packs up to 20.
Wow.
And I took out 4, sometimes 2. Then they don't come back. Like you could see where the tracks come to where the property was. About a mile back, they just go way around.
Yeah.
They kind of dogleg it there because they know something happened to a family member there. So they know it's a bad area kind of thing. It's dangerous. Just goes to show again how smart they are.
Yeah, that's crazy. So have you ever got a wolf aged?
No, I haven't.
Because I sent the the premolar away from my bear that I got 2 years ago. They were supposed to get it back to me. They haven't yet. But you know, I've heard of guys aging bears, and some of them get old, like 20 years, 24 years. You know, a 5.5 foot bear, 6 foot bear could be 10 years old, 8 years old, 12 years old. And I'm curious. Now, you know, deer, you know, when they're old, they're like 8 or 7. But when a bear is old, it's like 15, 20. So I'm curious what sort of the lifespan is on wolves. Do you have any idea?
I couldn't really say, but some I've caught had no teeth.
Wow. Yeah.
And I thought maybe they're kicked out from a moose and stuff. So I've kept the skull. Like I still have the skulls at home.
Wow.
And there's no, like you don't see nothing where it's broke. Like it's just chewed off. Mm-hmm. Then some wolves I've caught, their teeth are rounded. Like they're old. Like their hides are real big. But I don't know. I'm kind of curious too on how
I
old
think wolves' lifespan's sort of expected at around 16 to 20.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
That's super cool.
I'm fairly certain it's significantly longer than like your average house dog, which is 12, 14, right? So it's, you know, 16, 20-year-old dog. That's a smart fucking dog.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's actually, without a doubt.
That dog's seen some shit, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think there's a company in the States just south of the border here that you can send the premolars to and they'll age it. Wow. And I'm always curious. Yeah. Like even, you know, even the bear I got this year, it's a decent sized bear. I'm always curious how old they are. Yeah. You know, it sort of just gives you a bit of insight. Not much at all, but a bit of insight of what they've been through or how long they've been stomping around.
Have you ever got a wolf that's tagged in any way? Like Fish and Wildlife or biologist tags or anything like that?
I've caught some with collars.
Oh, really? You have?
You have to report it within 24 hours or you're going to get a pinch in the butt.
Did they give you any information on the wolf at all?
No, they have a tag and where it was, and they show you on a map how far, and some of them are like 50 miles. Like,
holy shit.
That's what I was going to ask. So the one that you got, do you know where it was collared? Like, you don't have to say where, but I guess, do you know how far was it collared from where you got it?
The lady told me it was roughly 50 miles, if not a little more. She said they had caught it on the opposite side of where I was. Then that's quite a drive, even with the truck, and for him to be caught there. But yeah, they do make their rounds. I didn't think it was actually that far.
Yeah, that's a long way.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, unreal. Well, I know even we got a mule deer that was tagged in the ear, and it had traveled, I think, 180 kilometers. This mule deer, yeah, it was trapped I think it was trapped inside Grand Prairie, like in the city, and they relocated it somewhere, and it made it like 150, 180 kilometers. Actually, a guy from Slave Lake got it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Tail.
Yeah, and mule deer will travel though. Like they're known to travel some distance. Now bears, weren't you a part of a hunt where they got a tagged bear?
When I was guiding bears a few years back, and we had an opportunity to shoot one that had a collar. And
Wow.
we could see that it had a collar and everything. And
Really?
it was actually like the last 5 minutes of the last day, and the guy just opted not to shoot it. He already got one bear down, actually earlier that day. And so it wasn't a very big bear or anything, but it was collared. And he was a little bit worried about it being collared. I said, no, it's totally legal. We just have to do whatever the collar says to do. And he just opted not to take it. So
Wow. Well, we got a cougar in this year that was collared. And it was collared when it was young, and it grew into this collar.
Oh.
Yeah, and so it had some rub marks and whatnot. So he's trying to get the collar from Fish and Wildlife so we can mount it with the collar on it, because he's like, it's missing some hair there.
Yeah.
So we can either leave it as it is, we can try and hide it, or we can get the collar and you can mount it just like you got it. So he's gonna try and see if he can get the collar. I don't know. I think it's sort of cool. It's like getting a banded duck or something, right? I can't say I've ever seen a tagged or collared anything really. I don't think.
I have, now that I think about it, we have killed a few bears in bear camp that had ear tags.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it just says, on the ear tag, it just says, do not consume.
Oh, okay.
And that's all. There was no number to call. There was no anything. All it had like a serial number, like E33 or whatever on it, and then it said, "Do not consume." Or whatever. And then
Interesting.
I think there might have been a date on it too.
When it was tagged, obviously.
But we.
Yeah. See, I'm always curious where they've traveled, where they've been.
Yeah, me too.
So it would be cool to know.
It would be, yeah.
Where that bear was tagged or where they dropped it off and whatnot. But yeah, wolves will travel a long ways, man. 50 miles. That's crazy.
Speaking of cougars, you should try to get a cougar tag. I have a friend that's coming up, and he has dogs that he's training.
Oh, really?
For cougars, yeah, and he's coming up this month.
Wow.
And if you guys could get a tag, there is a lot back
there.
There's some big toms in there, and I have pictures of them on trail cams, and they're pretty big kitties.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, doesn't cougar season start December 1st?
Yeah, it's on right now. I know last time we went out when Tommy was with us, I picked up a cougar tag and we called the hotline. And I think there was like one tom and one female or whatever left.
Yes,
but there's a quota you got to phone in every morning.
Well, that's what we got surrounded by cougars on the moose hunt there. Everywhere we went,
really?
Cougars, yeah.
Wow.
Cougar tracks everywhere.
Yeah, there's
no
lots,
moose tracks.
and they should up the numbers that they're taking out.
I heard they are.
Okay.
I heard from Fish and Wildlife that this year they have upped the quotas in a lot of zones.
Yeah.
Because they noticed that the population is definitely increasing.
Yeah.
It's not neutral, it is increasing.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are, from what I've heard. But yeah, they're tough animals to hunt, man.
Yeah, well, I actually saw one a couple weeks back.
Yes, you mentioned
when I
that.
was hunting, yeah.
Really?
And I was actually hunting with my mom, and we were just driving. We were just driving past actually a campground on the edge of a lake, and there was some deer hunters camped there or whatever, and we're just driving down the road at, I don't know, like going 50 or whatever, and here comes this big orange thing across the road, and it's moving pretty quick, and I just kind of seen it out of the corner of my eye, and thinking it's a deer right away, I slammed on the brakes, and then it just kind of struts across the road, and here it stretches the whole length of the road from tail to nose.
That's a big cat,
and
man.
I'm like, holy shit. And then I'm looking at it. I get a solid 5 seconds to watch it walk across the road, right?
Yeah.
And you can just see all the tendons and muscles
Yeah.
in its arms and everything. And it's just walking, not even looking at us, doesn't give a shit that we're there. My truck's just running, you know. And then
Wow.
it gets down into the ditch, and there's like some Christmas trees kind of on the next uphill side of the ditch. And they're 8-10 feet tall. And so the cat disappears into the grass. And then we just see it go boing, up one over the Christmas trees and back down and gone.
Wow. Yeah, they're super muscular and they're short hair. They're so defined when they walk. It's just unreal.
And I got to see it long enough, not long enough to get a picture or anything, but long enough to know that like I've seen a few cats in here. Like guys bring them in whole and stuff. I've never hunted them, but that was a big freaking cat. Like it's bigger than my dog, and my dog's 140 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big fucking cat.
Wow, that's crazy. And that zone you can hunt cougars?
You can, but there would have been no chance, and there was no way I was going in there with, even if I had a gun with the intention to.
Yeah, well, and you got to be careful too, right? Because you got to make sure there's a quota for that tom or that.
Well, that's just it. Yeah. But like, I wouldn't even have had an opportunity to shoot them anyway. Right?
Yeah.
Even if you were hunting them.
Yeah, they're tough. I know. I think it's south of here. I don't think you can use dogs, but north you can, or vice versa, one or the other.
Yeah, I don't know which way it is either.
But I know around here, like one of the zones you can't, one of the zones you can't. I've never pursued them, so I haven't really looked too much into it. So I guess the other method is baiting then.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, right? You're baiting or chasing them with dogs.
They do come in a bait, and you could tell when they're there. Like you could smell them. It's like a cat peeing outside your house.
Yeah.
Like it stinks. And the guy that we brought up 2 years ago, he was training his dogs, and we seen a lot of cats. It didn't take the dogs long at all. We would treat it. They would take a picture of it, and they would send it to the hell do you call us? Not a game word in
Biologist.
And we're trying to match the face where it came from, and some are from Grand Prairie. And I don't know if they were dropped off there or if they just made their way to the hill. I'm not too sure. But yeah, we've seen quite a few. But yeah, you should come out.
Yeah, well, you've told me stories where you've been checking the line, and I think you said you were with a buddy, and he said turn around, and his face was just white, and you turn around, there's a cat in the tree on top.
There's a lot of cats out there.
Wow.
There's, my son, same thing. My little guy, we were checking wolf snares and marten traps, and he's sitting there and he starts going. I was like, "What's wrong?" Good. He said, "Squirrels," and I'm looking around, and he says, "No, Dad, there's a kitty." And I said, "A kitty?" And I go, "Oh shit!" And I go grab my kid, and I'm looking, and there's a cougar under the spruce tree looking at my kid.
Wow.
Yeah, he went and told his mom, and I got grounded. I couldn't take him anywhere.
Holy shit!
There's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But, yeah.
Well, we had a hunter drop one off here, and he was going to put bait out, and he got out of his truck. He just felt something wasn't right, and he looked up just 50 yards. He parked beside a ridge, looked up, and there's a cat there. So he's like, okay, I'm just going to get back in the truck. This cat's going to go. Turned around, got in the truck, gave it 5-10 minutes. The cat was gone. He got out, started hiking in with his pails, turns around, and the cat's walking behind him. So he turned around and blasted it, and well, he got his cougar. A little easier than he was expecting, but that could have went south real quick if he didn't see it.
Oh wow! Well, I remember hearing a story, I think here at the shop a couple years ago, where a guy, a guy and his daughter went to get groceries or something.
Oh yeah, no, that was a rancher, outside of town.
They were carrying groceries across their little rock garden bridge thing, and the daughter went across the bridge, and they turned around at the house and looked back, and there was a cat standing on the bridge.
Yeah, they had seen that cat around the house, I think 2 or 3 times before that, and exactly like you said,
it was just hanging out under the little fucking bridge, and they walked over it, and so he shot it. It was a big cat.
That was a real big one.
That was the guy that brought it in whole, I think. In
a van, I think. It took 3 of us to lift this thing out.
Well, boys, that's the boss texting.
Okay, man. It was a pleasure having you. And everyone go check out his Facebook page. Be sure to check out the episode we're going to release on. I'm pretty sure we're going to release the trapping episode on YouTube. It may be released on Sportsman, but we're still got to clear some things with that. But we do have a couple bear episodes with him that will be released on the Sportsman channel. We appreciate everything you've done for us. Okay. The bear baiting, the wolf trapping the last couple of years. You've done a lot, and we appreciate it big time.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and this too, man. It's a ton of fun. I hope we, shed some knowledge and shared some stuff with people sort of interested in doing some wolf trapping or wolf hunting. And we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely do this again. Don't get grounded.
I think I'm grounded and she's texting like crazy.
Right on, guys. So today's podcast is brought to you by Antler Obsession, the only big game attractant and supplement designed specifically for elk, moose, and deer living in a northern climate. Your elk and moose love it, eh?
Yes, they do.
They do. Right on. That's good. Go to nontypical.org. Use promo code podcast for 10% off everything, including Antler Obsession supplement and attractant.